from high atop 1926 Hollywood Boulevard, you're listening to SoFloRadio.com.
You are now listening to the Frank Fernandez Show. You can call the show 954-990-0036. You can reach the show on Twitter at FrankTheTank305. Welcome to the Asylum. It's now time for the Frank Fernandez Show on SoFloRadio.com. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Frank Fernandez Show live here on SoFloRadio.com. December 16, 2014. We got about a week left. What is it? 9 days left for Christmas. And this is actually going to be the last show of the year. So thank you for joining us. Thank you for making us a part of your day. My name is Frank Fernandez, a.k.a. Frank the Tank. And we'll be here live from 5 to 6 p.m. on SoFloRadio.com. 954-990-0036. Introduction to the show, like always, we are the Crazies, and welcome to the Asylum. And, of course, I'm going to introduce the man sitting across from me, my partner in crime, David Miles. Call him DP on the show. What's up, bro?
What's going on? What's going on?
Everything good, man. Just playing with the sounds, like always, late, putting my headphones on at the last minute. But I think we're actually...
Did we start the show on time today?
We started the show on time.
All
Smooth
right.
show. There's no sounds in the background. We're live. We're kicking it. You know, we're going. We're on. You know, so
far so good.
So far so good.
All right, let's
just
do
put
this.
it that way. So I mean, a lot to get to. This is gonna be the last show, so we're gonna kind of try to take it easy a little bit today. You know, you can join us on the webcam. If you follow me on Twitter, you can go ahead and get that link that I tweeted out about 5 minutes ago. So you can go ahead and follow the webcam there, or later on, you can go ahead and check out the SoFloRadio.com YouTube channel, which I believe it's called SoFlo TV. And you can go ahead and watch the archived shows there. So, yeah, I want to kind of take it easy. But, you know, we'll take it easy later on in the show. Get ready. Maybe discuss a little bit of Christmas festivities between the family and whatnot. I've been saying that lately, whatnot. I don't know. I have a friend from New York, and he kind of says it. That's one of those mafia kind of phrases. I guess it's one of the, you know, when you hang out with somebody for a long time or you start to adapt to things that they say, and before you know, you have a whole new saying in your vocabulary, and it's kind of weird.
Yeah, all of a sudden you walk away from, that's cool, bro.
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden it's like, yeah.
Or whatnot. It's nice. It has like a little bit of an edge to it. So, I don't know. I'm riding with it for now. I don't even plan on saying it, just comes out. That's the thing about that.
Well, you know, that's when you know it's part of your vocabulary now. That's your thing. And then all of a sudden I'm going to start doing it now just because you do it on a regular basis. Yeah. So
it's funny the way things work out.
Keep that to yourself.
So 954-990-0036. We will be taking your phone calls all show long. A lot of noise. A lot of noise has been going on lately. I mean, we know the way the Hurricanes finished. By the way, the U2, outstanding movie. Billy Corbin, a great director. He's directed a couple of great films. We were trying to get him on the show last week, but, man, he's busy. He wasn't even done editing the movie, I think, till like 12 hours before the movie was actually premiered on Saturday night. It's a lot different than the first one. David hasn't seen it, so I don't want to spoil it for him. I was going to come on the show talking about it. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to spoil it for you, but you have to watch it. So the first one, you know, it's fantastic. It's like, bro, it was up and down because it was a championship, then non-championship, championship, then non-championship pretty much. And you're dealing with the guys that had a serious attitude, you know, and they didn't care about anybody. They were bad boys. And they came out, and that shows a lot of personality on the team. So it was a cool movie to watch, especially wrapped around all the stories that were going on. I connected to this one a lot more because the timeline of this movie was from 92 till about 3 weeks ago. That Pittsburgh game was pretty much the last thing that came out on that movie. So it's very recent. So you connect a lot more to it. You connect to the way I found out a lot of things that I didn't know. But it's pretty much the way Butch put that team together in '97. That they had no depth. Fights with the Florida Gators on Bourbon Street as they walked out of a strip club. Spoiler alert. It was cool. It was a really good movie. It was a good movie. Now, obviously, you know the timeline of the Canes, David.
Yeah.
2001, we won the championship.
2002, we were robbed of a championship.
Right. And you know when the movie's going to start taking a decline. Like, they even hit you with the commercial as soon as the movie was about to drop. Like, I kind of looked at everybody that I was around, and I go, ready for the decline?
2003.
So it was a lot of fun. You gotta watch that movie. It was a great movie. A new soundtrack. Trick Daddy was actually the behind the soundtrack of this one. Uncle Luke was the first one.
Nice.
This one's all about Trick Daddy. Really cool.
T-double-D.
Showed a lot of the guys looking really young, and you're like, wow, man, look at the way these guys have grown up. And I mean, a lot of these players. That's what made that team so special. Is a lot of the players
Are retiring from the NFL.
No, they're still playing. You got like guys like Santana Moss, Reggie Wayne. All those guys are still in the league, and all those guys are still key factors to their teams.
And fiery key factors too. Look at Santana Moss just this weekend got kicked out of the game for
Arguing a call
Yeah.
that RG3 fumble that he went
Yeah.
diving into the pylon.
I mean, you have
Fumble.
To
It was a fumble.
But he's going out for his teammates still. He's still got that feisty in him. He's not just saying, "Oh, all right, next game."
Well, he came out on an interview on local radio, and he was talking that he had gotten into a fight in his freshman year because somebody punched him with the lights off. Somebody punched him square in his back, and it was like a 350-pound dude. He said that before he knew it, this dude rushed him. He was able to scoop him up and just go at him. And as a freshman, I mean, he was like a $180 or something like that. As a freshman, that kind of opened a lot of the players' eyes, a lot of the upperclassmen's eyes, and was like, all right, this guy can go to war with us. So, you have to be good with your hands, and you have to be a tough guy. For being in the league, I think this is his 15th year. He was drafted in 2000, so I believe it's his 14th or 15th year, and it's. Bro, that's a lot of toughness, and you got to give it up to guys like that. Reggie Wayne as well. You know, he's still a key factor in his team.
Hey, look at him. Busted his leg last year. Didn't have the most outstanding year this year. But he was still a key factor for his team, and everybody was still always watching him. That's why T.Y. had such an amazing year.
That's another Miami guy, Mr. FIU. I'm going to start calling him Mr. FIU.
Mr. FIU
He's
right
got like
now.
this airplane dance going on. I don't know what that's all about. I don't know where that originated.
Well, right now that boy is flying high. That's exactly what that is. I mean, he's looking to get paid because I do believe this is his third year in the league.
I believe it's his third.
So next year he's looking to get paid. I mean, he could even most likely, if his contract allows him, opt out of maybe his fourth year for a payday.
I don't got anybody here to fact check for me because I'm not gonna be scouring the internet to find out how many years T.Y. Hilton's been on there. If you want to find out, go ahead, call me, text me, let me know. But we're gonna approximately his third year. That's the way we do it around here.
We're working lazy today.
So it's the last show of the year.
I mean, look at
Christmas
the show
is next
sheet.
week.
Look at the sheet.
I
I
just got little liners. That's it. Like topics.
It's a ripped paper.
Topics
with a couple hashtags.
The most unpredictable, unprofessional show sheet that I've ever brought to the table here.
Exactly. At least most days there's a hashtag with a paragraph next to it. I think that's a ketchup stain.
Yeah. So, I mean, whatever. We can talk about the first topic on the show sheet since we kind of went going off about the U. NFL playoff, man. We're right on the brink of getting to the NFL playoffs. By the way, you can hit me up on Twitter at FrankTheTank305 or hashtag The Asylum is what I was actually hashtagging for the show. Catchy little hashtag. But, yeah, we're on the brink of the NFL playoffs. You got to give it up to Dallas. Dallas actually played a tough game against the Eagles. Very unpredictable. The Eagles went into Dallas on Thanksgiving and blew them away.
Mm-hmm.
And now Dallas goes into Philadelphia. Mark Sanchez totally screwed me on one of my fantasy leagues. He totally laid an egg. He gave me a dirty Sanchez performance.
The fact that you had Sanchez starting.
I had Nick Foles.
There, somebody else you have to pick up.
There was nobody there.
I mean, I would have picked up Tannehill against the Patriots.
No.
Just due to the fact that should have been a shootout.
shootout with the Dolphins offense. Come on, man. They haven't done anything the last few
they
games.
show promise every first half, the last 4 or 5 games, really, and then the second half they just been snoring. They've been sleeping. It's like it's a totally different team that comes out in that second half.
It's been like that for the past few games. They haven't been able to put points together. As it sits right now, the Dolphins are sitting 11th in the conference. They got to make it to 6th if they want to make it to the wild card.
They have to win out, and a couple miracles have to happen. Like Baltimore has to lose out right now.
Okay, Baltimore has to lose, or Pittsburgh. Those are the two teams that you're looking at that have to, or Cincinnati. Those are the three teams that you're looking at that are right now sitting in playoff spots with 9 wins. Dolphins have 7 wins, so those teams are 2 games ahead of the Dolphins, and the Ravens are 3 games ahead of the Dolphins. If you look at it that way, because the Ravens beat them head to head.
Yeah.
It changes a little bit when there's 3 teams with the same record. Then it's weird. I don't even know. I can't even explain.
Yeah, it goes to the head-to-head matchups and.
No, then it goes by conference record or I don't know.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyways,
That goes
so they need Baltimore, Pittsburgh, and Cincinnati all to lose.
every game.
Then they need Kansas City to lose. They need San Diego to lose. They need Buffalo to lose twice.
Yeah,
They need Houston to lose.
They just need everybody in the AFC to just lose, except for the Broncos and the Patriots right now.
It's pathetic.
Those are the only teams in the AFC that are allowed to win from here on out, if the Dolphins want a chance to get in, which it's still unlikely
really
because
sad.
they're gonna have the same record as most of these other teams.
It's really 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 sad. It's so sad. I mean, I was.
Think about it. I heard this on the radio the other day. Imagine saying that the Jay Fiedler era was the golden days for a lot of these up-and-coming Dolphin fans, the younger crowd.
Well, those were the days that the younger crowd remembers. Those are the days that the younger crowd remembers, and that's what they can pretty much lay back on. What's that?
Sounds like a chime.
Sounds like the death of the Miami Dolphins
Uh-oh.
for 2014.
Is The Undertaker coming out?
Pretty much. Might as well come out and just put the Dolphins out of the misery for the last 2 games of the season, because right now, what are we playing for? What are we playing for? All right, so they have an easy 2 games. They got the Vikings and they got the Jets. But the Jets have beat us last year in that season, and last year in that game that they needed to win in order to make it to the playoffs. And you know what they happened on that one? They pooped. Call the morgue. The Undertaker's coming to take him away.
I can't hold a straight face.
I told you I wanted to have fun in this show.
This is hilarious. The death of the Dolphins. Really, what are they really playing for right now? A middle draft pick right now?
If that, I mean,
that's what they're playing
They
for
are
right
playing
now.
for it.
They're playing for a middle draft pick. So even if they were to lose the rest of the 2 games, it doesn't help them.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about this game. We can stop the nonsense a little bit here. Having fun. Let's talk a little bit about this game. So the Dolphins come out and they throw a 50-yard pass. I told you this in the car and I left you with your jaw dropped, and you had Mike Wallace fantasy, so you would have needed him anyways. So they start out with a 55-yard pass to Mike Wallace, right? Mike Wallace, as much as everybody's praising Tannehill, my God, look, he connected on the first throw. Mike Wallace had to wait for that throw to get to him. He had to wait. If Tannehill would have led Wallace on that throw, it would have been an easy 6 points, possibly 7. So then what happens? They go 55 yards. They make another couple passes. They go a couple more yards, another nice couple chunks, and then it's a 4th and short. They elect to kick the field goal. Why not? If you're playing the Patriots and they're one of those teams that they're better than you, okay, and they pretty much score a touchdown on every possession, why are you going to handicap yourself and then only go for 3? So if it's 4th and short and you're on there, where were they? On the 30-yard line? It was a 40-something yard kick. So they were on about the 30. You're on the 30. So if you turn the ball over, okay, you got Brady going the other way now. It's like you punted the ball away. Okay? So instead of working more than twice as hard to try to beat the Patriots because you're going to just be kicking field goals every time you get stopped on fourth down. Why not grow a pair and go for it on fourth down?
Well, I mean, it's an early momentum change because everybody already knows, New England was at home, so they already have the momentum. They already have the crowd backing. So I would honestly, at this point in time, I would agree with you. I missed the opening drive by probably 5 minutes, but I mean, that would be a complete game changer. That would be Bill Belichick like, whoa.
Well,
what's
it was a
going
game.
on?
It was a game changer
I
because
mean,
the field goal was blocked and New England took it the other way and turned your possible 3 now into 7. So
Correct.
you already had your foot shot.
Yeah,
So
that is
why
right.
not go for it?
It was a game changer actually because it took all the momentum that you could have had and it just put it in their lap.
Now the Dolphins did do something good closing out the the first half. They did go. New England decided to be conservative. They ran the ball 3 straight times. Miami was able to call the timeout and get New England the punt, and they got the ball back with time that they were able to take the ball down the field
Yep.
and then put a touchdown on the board, which was great because they went into halftime 14-13.
Yep.
Then the adjustments happened, the speeches happened, whatever happened. Brady was like, all right, I have you where I want you, and then I'm gonna expose you. And went right down the field, touchdown to Gronk, which I believe had no catches in the first half.
None.
You knew they were going to go to him.
He was.
Whenever Brady, it turns on in a bulb in his head, I haven't thrown the ball to Gronk? Okay, I'm going to start throwing the ball to Gronk.
He
only looks at Gronk.
He was getting plenty of looks. He was getting. I think he had like 4 passes thrown to him. He was actually getting blocked. Gronk was, for the first half, irrelevant. We had almost taken him out of the game.
Well, we did. He had no catches.
But right when the second half started, his first pass was to Gronk. His second pass was to Gronk. And then everything else after that was Gronk, Gronk, Gronk. I mean, all of a sudden it was like, who's covering Gronk? Or, I mean, when Tom Brady can run and scramble, he had a 14-yard scramble for a first down?
Believe so.
I mean, come on. Tom Brady's 37 years old.
He was looking old. I don't know if he's 37, David.
No, he is 37.
That I'm going to look up.
That you can Google it. Can't argue that.
Finish.
But no, he was
bro.
able to scramble.
37 years old. Well, he looked like he was 37
And somebody who is really never known to be a scrambler. I mean, he's just like Peyton Manning. He senses pressure, he just falls down. He was able to run. Nobody was paying attention to him. Everybody, I mean, it was just sloppy. It was terrible football to watch as a Dolphin fan.
Wow, these guys are older than what I thought they were. Manning's 38.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, I didn't know they were that old.
Have you checked your ID yet?
I'm getting up there too, man.
Yeah.
Like, believe it or not, like the other day, I'm like, wow, I got 3 months and I'm gonna be 32. Like, ouch.
Ouch. Yeah.
But yeah, the Dolphins, they're done. They're done.
But let's throw this out there. Is Joe Philman going to be there next year?
Well,
We'll give this a couple seconds to throw this out there. We're not going to be like your normal media. We're just not going to sit here and say, is Joe Philman losing his job next on 11?
The media is making, I know we're not that media, but the media is making so much noise because they just need a story. And they're making so much noise about that the owner starts listening to this and wants to get rid of them. But like I was talking to you in the car, local guy, national guy, was talking about this. We're going to go after a guy who has better talent, David? The Niners or the Dolphins?
Niners.
So we're going to go after a coach that with better talent has the same exact record with a guy that's making a team with less talent look better?
Oh no, I completely agree with you. I completely agree with
it's
you.
A lot of
3 years ago,
here,
the Dolphins
let's keep
looked
going
like
with this.
a different team than when they did 3 years ago.
It's not the coaches. The coaches aren't out there playing the games. The coaches can only do so much. It's the players that you have. John Fox, okay? John Fox looks like a genius now. He's gone to now he has Peyton Manning, and he's in the playoffs every single year. Okay, he's gone to a Super Bowl before with Jake Delhomme and the Panthers. Belichick, what do you think Belichick would be without Peyton Manning? You think Belichick would be succeeding the way he succeeds year in and year out without Peyton Manning? Without Tom Brady? I saw you smiling. I was like, what did I say? Yeah, okay, I got it myself. I caught it. But it's It's not the coaches, it's the players. And I'm gonna stick to what I said so I can stay consistent with what I was saying last week. As long as you have a wide receiver that's under center, he's improving, but he's not gonna win you a Super Bowl. As long as you have a wide receiver, you're not gonna get anywhere. And that's the thing. You're saying, well, we're right there. It's the same old Dolphins. The Dolphins have gotten better. Statistically, the Dolphins have gotten better. You know why it feels like it's the same thing every single year? Because they don't have a playmaker. They don't have a clutch guy that in those key moments, like the Green Bay game or the Detroit game or that Jets game, somebody finally came through. But they don't have that guy that comes through week in and week out to get them those tight wins.
You can't say Aaron Rodgers this weekend, Mister. I fumbled it into my own end zone.
Everybody has those games.
I mean, everybody has those games, but like that one game, I really needed it.
I'll throw it back in your face. Me too.
Fantasy
I'll throw it back
football.
in your face.
I hate you.
Aaron Rodgers next week, this week. You think he has a bad game again?
Nope.
Because a guy like him, a guy like Brady, a guy like Manning, you will see him have a bad game here and there, but you'll never see them have 2 games consecutively that are poor. It doesn't exist.
No, he's going to look at the game tape. He's going to be like, oh, my goodness. I mean, that was a terrible game. He's going to come out and ball. I fully expect 4 touchdowns from Aaron Rodgers today. I mean, but look at Jordy Nelson. He dropped so many balls. I mean, no. Very upsetting.
954-990-0036. This is The Asylum on SoFloRadio.com.
From high atop 1926 Hollywood Boulevard, you're listening to SoFloRadio.com.
Say, remember when radio was fun?
Now it's dead.
Because deregulation has allowed one massive corporation to spread its tentacles like a giant octopus, absorbing radio stations around the globe. And that's why you hear this.
SoFlo Radio will stand and fight the corporate monolith. SoFloRadio.com. SoFloRadio.com.
Say, remember when radio was fun?
Now it's dead.
Because deregulation has allowed one massive corporation to spread its tentacles like a giant octopus, absorbing radio stations around the globe. And that's why you hear this.
SoFlo Radio will stand and fight the corporate monolith. SoFloRadio.com. SoFloRadio.com. By the Glass.
By the Glass is a show about beverage culture.
Brad Hubbard.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to connect the dots on how everything works together. It's really all about how we enjoy things, how we enjoy life, and how beverages play a big part in that. I'm going to bring in people that are going to display their aspect of the culture. I'm going to bring in people that are going to show you different products. We're going to look at places where people go to consume these beverages and how they all interact. Things are built around the actual beverage itself.
By the Glass. Thursdays from 6 to 7. Only on SoFloRadio.com.
The Amigo Show with Larry Million.
Yeah, I said it. Michael Jordan was the biggest thing in the NBA. LeBron is the biggest thing in the NBA.
Yeah.
Same type of star. I'm not going to argue who's better today. And you look at that, right, Frank? And I remember Jordan. Like, I rooted against Jordan. You know why I rooted against Jordan? Whoa! My voice went soprano. Oh my goodness.
No, what I meant to say was do you know why I root against?
You have failed.
That's what I was trying to say.
The Amigo Show, Saturday mornings from 9 to noon, only on SoFloRadio.com.
On SoFloRadio.com.
Frank Fernandez Show.
Let me tell you about a young man we just drafted. Hey, we need that thumb to go this direction every time you watch him as a punt returner.
right, you chipmunks. Ready to sing your song?
I'll say we are. Yeah, let's sing it now.
Okay, Simon?
Okay.
Okay, Theodore?
Okay.
Okay, Alvin? Alvin? Alvin!
One of my favorite Christmas songs of all time. This is like the coolest Christmas album, David. You look at me super weird. Every time I put something on, you look at me strange. There's something wrong with the balance on my computer. I haven't been able to figure it out just yet.
Dude, you're listening to the Chipmunks, and you're wondering where there's a balance issue. Really? Really? Forget what album you were listening to, sir?
You don't like Christmas music? You don't like Christmas music? Is that what you're telling me? You don't like Christmas carols? I'm not saying carolers. I can't stand carolers. Christmas
Unfortunately,
carols.
I work in retail.
So you hear it all day, I'm sure.
So it's on all day long. I don't get spoiled by the Chipmunks, though. I would probably start singing in the middle of work at 4 a.m. The Chipmunks just start wailing. We have radios, too, so I do it on the radio.
Happy holidays to all. Tonight is the first night of Hanukkah. So happy
Congratulations.
holidays to all. 954-990-0036. This is The Asylum live here on SoFloRadio.com. Oh, man. All right, so I'm going to talk. The most uninteresting thing that anyone can ever talk to you about is their fantasy team. So I want to be selfish, and I'm going to talk about my fantasy team. But there's a reason why I'm going to talk about my fantasy team. What happened to me last night actually reminds me why I love sports the way I do. David's being a smartass right now. He's looking at me, hoodie on, just craziest look on his face.
Talk to me about your fantasy team.
Okay, so I'll give you the scenario first, and then we'll talk about whatever you want to talk about. Going into last night, I'm in the semifinals going to the playoffs. So going in last night, I'm up by 29. I have Mark Ingram. I'm playing against Marcus Colston and Jimmy Graham. So I'm hoping that the balance between Colston and Graham balance out with what Mark Ingram gets. Mark Ingram's been getting about 20 points a game, so automatic. He's been one of the best running backs
one
in
of the
fantasy
most
football.
consistent ever since he came back from his injury, yes.
Even before his injury, he's been the man. So I was like, all right, good, I'm straight. All of a sudden, halftime comes up. I check the score. Because I'm not one of those people that can just check the score, man. I get so nervous looking at them, and then I just can't stop looking at it every 5 seconds.
I know, you have to look at it.
Oh, my God. I tried to avoid it as much as possible.
That means, and that only means, you're not putting enough money down.
Well, I mean, it's a work league, so we're not really putting in high.
Everybody
baller
knows how
amounts
much
right now.
everybody is making, so they're like, yeah, I know how much you can afford, sir.
Well, I mean, it's a nice chunk of change. It's no like balling amount. I mean, it was $30 a piece, so the winner gets about $300. So it's a nice chunk of change.
No, it's a nice chunk of change.
You know,
I'm not saying anything against
I just can't
but
do it because I get too
I'm
nervous.
saying once the monetary value goes well beyond $50, you will be checking it every Sunday.
But what's the point of checking it every 5 minutes?
It doesn't matter.
What's the point of checking it every 5 minutes?
It doesn't matter.
You have no control over
You're
it.
always checking. You're checking matchups. You're checking who am I playing? Who is his guys playing against?
That's different. But while the game's going on,
the moment it happens, the moment, like I said, that monetary value, once it goes up, it's not just fantasy football. It doesn't become a job because typically in fantasy football, there's only so many players you can pick up. And depending on how many people are in your league, there's only so many people you can still pick up. But yeah, man.
no, I can't do that. I can't do that, man, because I check it every. Look, listen, on the Sunday after I set my lineup, because I do check that constantly, because I need to see the changes in lineups and injuries and
well, yeah, you always
and
have to
whatnot.
check if you got that P next to your name, you're probable.
Yeah, so I'm always constantly checking up on that. But once the games have already started playing, I can't stay there glued to it, checking every 5 minutes, because it ruins my day. It makes football not fun for me. So I'd rather just watch the games. Just kind of just be like, okay, I think I'm playing him. Damn, I know I'm playing him. That sucks. He scored. I'd rather have that mentality and after the 1:00 games, then I'll check it one time.
No.
I'll check the scores. I'll be like, okay, I'm down by 50 or I'm up by 40. I gotta do something. But you have no control, so there's no point checking it every day. It's not like you can pick up a phone and be like, hey, Philbin, get off your ass, stop talking, and get this guy to do this. You can't do that. So you just kind of just have to just let it sit. Last night I fell into the trap at halftime. I saw I was down by 6. Bro, this is a game that it's like money's on the line whether you win or lose. So anyways, let me finish, and then we can keep going, okay? So this is one of those games that money's on the line, whether you win or you lose. So I'm kind of checking. Halftime, I'm down by 6. I mean, I'm up by 6. All of a sudden, a couple plays happen. I'm up by 1. And I'm like, oh, man. Jimmy Graham then catches a slant that goes for like 25 yards. Now I'm down by 3. And there's 2 minutes left in the game, and I'm like, okay, garbage time. Give the ball to Mark Ingram. I'm like, all right, where's Ingram? Because at one point, Pierre Thomas was getting all the runs, and he was the one actually getting the yardage. At this point, Mark Ingram has like 4 points or something. This is awesome radio, not interesting at all. But at this point, Mark Ingram has about 4 points, okay? The Bears get the ball back. Then it's 4th down. From their own 20-yard line, they decide to go for it. The Saints get the ball back, and I'm like, all right, they're going to give the ball to Mark Ingram. He's going to run it inside a couple times, kill the clock, game's over. With about 40 seconds left, first run, cuts it outside. Mark Ingram runs into the end zone. I end up winning by 3. When my girlfriend was about to fall asleep, she knew I was so mad, okay? And I'm there kind of playing. I'm there playing a game on my phone, and I'm kind of like trying to just listen to the game in the background because I'm a Bears fan.
And then all of a sudden.
And we're getting our ass kicked, so I'm loose because of that too.
All of a sudden.
When Mark Ingram is running into the end zone, she's sleeping. She's sleeping. I'm not trying to make noise, and then I'm like, the hell with this. She knows how mad I was.
And
I start screaming, oh my God, I won. I've never been so excited for some team scoring a touchdown on my team.
A complete random score against your own home team.
And I'm absolutely going bonkers at this point. Like, the euphoria that I went through my body at this point made me realize how much and why I love sports the way it is. You can be down, kicked in the stomach, hurting at one point of the game, to all of a sudden be like, oh my God, we did it. And it's just a feeling that rushes through your body. I haven't been able to show that to my girlfriend yet. She's always wondering what I'm talking about when something like that happens. And it's fantastic. It doesn't happen every game. It doesn't happen every day. It happens once every long time. That's never happened to me in fantasy football. And it was amazing. It was absolutely amazing.
It's like it's the exact same feeling that we probably would have had we had beaten FSU at the UN game this year. Especially maybe even a comeback from behind victory after Winston had possibly taken control. Especially how we dominated in the first half, so that was the upper high. And then that third quarter started, and that was the beginning of the low. And then the fourth quarter started, and it just got lower. Imagine winning that. That's the roller coaster kind of ride that, unfortunately, even fantasy football can bring to the table.
I'm gonna get it off the fantasy talk because I think I've been on there enough. I think it's been like 15 minutes.
But your fantasy team talk was so interesting.
Fantasy football Super Bowl. Actually, one league I got Rocket with his Rocketitis defeating me on the other league because Aaron Rodgers didn't help me out on that league. No, I'm sorry. That was the league that Mark Sanchez pulled the Dirty Sanchez on me.
You got Dirty
Sanchez. I got Dirty Sanchez. Yeah, not a good feeling. 954-990-0036. This is The Asylum. You can hit me up on Twitter at FrankTheTank305 or hashtag The Asylum. I'm going to talk about something else. This is a story that I got into a little dispute with a friend of mine. It's fantasy because the story was fake, but she's there messaging me saying that that Jay-Z bought the Dodgers and is going to move them back to Brooklyn. And I'm like, dude, right away all the red flags just went up. And I'm like, there's no way. There's no way this is possible. There's no way. So I started looking it up. There was one website that did make a story on this, that him and his group were going to buy the team for $2 billion. I know the team is worth more than that because Magic Johnson just made a purchase on at least, I think it was a part of it, not the whole thing, but a part of it, and it was over I think it was $2.1 billion dollars. So I know that was a red flag right there. Then they're saying that the team will play in the Brooklyn Cyclone Stadium, which is their minor league team, which is another red flag that rose because I went to New York last year and I saw that Brooklyn Cyclone Stadium and it only seats maybe like 22 to 28,000 people.
That's
Nowhere
pretty good for a D League or.
It's going to be a major league team. It's the Dodgers.
But, I mean, for
the minors.
For the first
I think I'm exaggerating, to be honest with you. I'm going to look that one up too. I think I'm exaggerating, to be honest with you.
But that's pretty cool that even a minor league team has a stadium of that size. I mean, but if you were to move a franchise, I mean, you can't move the Dodgers. Bottom line, that franchise is massive. You couldn't take that to a minor league stadium. Bottom line, you just couldn't.
Which is the other red flag that brought up. You already have, you have two teams. You have two teams in New York with established fan bases. Like, these aren't teams that came around like 20 years ago. No, these are teams that have been there for many years. Okay, Dodgers left. What year did Dodgers leave? They were there in the 30s, in the 40s, right?
I think it was like 30s, late 30s.
Okay, so you have a team that left that long ago. The fan base that the Brooklyn Dodgers had
has been gone.
I'm trying to put this more polite. They're maybe not with us.
I didn't even think about it like that.
That was insensitive, David. That was bad. That was what. Explain yourself.
I would like to apologize to the listening audience. That was wrong.
That was awful.
So I was thinking about it's like any of the memorabilia besides for what's at the Hall of Fame and like museums. I'm pretty sure doesn't exist anymore. But yes.
I was being extremely generous, by the way, because the Brooklyn Cyclone Stadium, which it's called MCU Park, only seats 7,500 people. So how are you going to bring a ball club into there? That's so. Anyways, but the red flags are shining.
$2 billion for a 7,500.
No, well, he's going to build a stadium.
Well, I mean, but it takes
4 or 5 years to build a stadium. Yeah,
I mean,
I agree.
especially with the technology nowadays that they actually have to do. I mean, it's not just some billboard with 4 guys working the back changing chalk.
No, I agree.
You know?
I agree, man. I agree. Well, it's still kind of like that in Wrigley Field. I mean, they still do it manually with the boards.
Well, but that's Wrigley, though. There's a reason why that's Wrigley, and it has nothing but nets hanging outside of it because the place is falling apart.
Bro,
but it is.
You want sad news? I'll show you. I'll show you a Twitter feed. I know that the renovations were supposed to start, but I didn't think the renovations on Wrigley Field were gonna be as drastic, as huge as they are. Man, I'll show you pictures. The left field and right field bleachers are totally gone. They totally knocked them down. The scoreboard still stands at center field, and there's a lot of construction going around the whole stadium. They're trying to renovate this place. I'm glad I was able to take Jenny when I took her because it was the last year that it looked the way Wrigley was supposed to look, that historic field. Because now they want to put a scoreboard in left field, which is going to totally block the view of a couple of the apartments. Remember, for those of you that have never been to Wrigley Field, those apartments are not connected to Wrigley Field. There's a street in between Wrigley Field and those apartments. Something I had to show Jenny when we went over there. That's one of the allures of Wrigley Field. The fact that it's in the middle of the neighborhood. The fact that those are apartments that have been there since Wrigley was opened, and that's one of those values of those apartments. Now you're totally going to wipe it off because you're going to put a big old scoreboard in front of them, and you're not going to be able to use those apartments for certain things. All those apartment buildings have bleachers built on top of those buildings that actually you can go on different websites and buy seats up there. So they come with like food packages, which is really, really cool.
That's awesome.
The next time I go to Wrigley, I want to go to one of the buildings because it's just a different perspective of what I've seen at Wrigley Field.
But not if you get to stare at a billboard all night. That completely defeats it.
In right field, I believe they're going to leave it open. They want to have at least some of the buildings still be able to be visible, but I mean, I'll show you panoramics of Wrigley Field. David, I know, well, your family's from Chicago. I don't know if you've ever been to Wrigley. But, dude, you look at the outfield, and it's like, wow, man, look how gorgeous. It's so intimate. It's so – and Wrigley Field doesn't seat that many. It's high 30s.
Yeah, and that's exactly what the Marlins wanted, and that's exactly what we've, for the most part, got. And, you know, that's –
Well, we don't fill it. Wrigley Field fills it, and the team is garbage.
Besides –
not anymore.
Well, I mean,
Between them and the Marlins, them signing everybody, it's been the Marlins and the Cubs making all the noise.
I mean, dude, look at the Marlins
in the
right
offseason.
now. Look at the Marlins right now.
Even though Jimmy Rollins now went to the Dodgers, so the Dodgers seem to have won that situation because they dumped a lot of their salary and were able to pick up people on the cheap.
Yeah, okay.
Hanley went to Boston.
Google how old Jimmy Rollins is.
Oh my.
That's a good question. I mean, because isn't he like close to Ozzie Smith now?
No. Come on, man. Wow, David, you're shocking me today. 36 years old for Jimmy Rollins.
Bam.
But they got him on the cheap. He's still a good shortstop.
Oh, no. I mean, at 36 right now, they probably got him at a steal. Jimmy Rollins, I'm not saying anything
He won the
negative.
Roberto Clemente Award last year. His last Gold Glove was 2
He's-
years ago,
yeah,
so he's still
great.
very good defensive.
He is great. I would love to still have him on my team. I'm not saying anything bad. I mean, it's just, they dumped off everybody, and I guess they're going with the veteran route, it sounds like, because we got D. Gordon from him.
The Marlins are making the Marlins are signing a lot of people.
We got
and
D. Gordon out
They're
of him.
spending a lot of money, and I don't know if they're spending money in the right. I don't know.
Well, no, D. Gordon is at the age that we have the team that he's almost a veteran, but he's not really a veteran. But he adds a sense of seniority.
All this is totally just to try to be like, hey, look, Stan, we're trying to make you happy, right? I mean, Stan seems like he's
The deal is built for this to happen.
But doesn't this leave you suspicious again? I mean, remember, we've seen this team build before and then
But the people
destroy
the people that they're going after are actually of the younger caliber, so it's actually better deals, and we're going after talented, not huge names. We're not going after Reyes. We're not going after
right the shiny
the shinies,
the shiny diamonds,
the
right?
shinies. We're not going after those. We're going after quality players.
That's a good point. That is a good point.
We're going after really quality players. And besides for Stan, I do think we need one more power hitter if we're going to continue to build around Stan.
Well, Azuna's still going to be in the lineup, so he's pretty good.
He's great.
He's a good compliment hitter around
He really
Stanton.
is. He really is.
I want to see the way they shift a couple of these position players because they had pretty good pieces last year. I want to see the way they shift them around.
You know, what are we going to do with Hecheverria right now as a shortstop position if we're going to have D. Gordon?
D. Gordon's a second baseman. So
Was he a second
yeah, he's
baseman?
second. So
Okay.
we're good with that. I forgot who the second baseman was last year, but we're fine there. That's not a problem, regardless who it was. That's not a problem.
Not Yelich.
Yelich was an outfielder.
Yeah, that other young kid. Another good potential. He was another good potential. Not the greatest glove, as far as I saw. A couple errors from the few games that I went to last year. The direction is once again a very positive one. At this point, I do not see a sell-off, as in the team being sold. I as of right now, the build that I do see going forward at this point, I do think is longevity. I'm hoping. I'm going.
Yeah. You're reaching a little bit.
Right
Look at us
now.
talking Marlins, bro. Look at us talking Marlins. I'm happy with the Cubs signings too. The Cubs are going to be really good in a couple years. And I don't know about this year. Next year, watch out with the Cubs. And the way their farm system is, that I've been saying it on this show now for a couple weeks, and it sounded like a lot of hope. And since the last time we've talked, we've picked up Joe Madden, and we've also picked up John Lester that we just introduced him yesterday. The Cubs are starting to make moves.
Yeah.
Okay, the Cubs are starting to make moves, and it's one of those deals that I support both the Cubs and the Marlins, and I can never catch one being good and the other one being bad, so I can focus all my attention on that one team. When one's good, the other one seems to be good.
True.
Look at 2003, how it worked out for me.
true.
I was stuck,
True.
and of course I'm gonna go with my ultimate love, and that's the Chicago Cubs. Big shout out to Canes fan for making me a part of your day. Armando, Coete, T-Dog, all you for being tuned in. Thank you for listening up. 954-990-0036. Hashtag The Asylum on Twitter. We'll be back in a couple minutes for the last segment here of the Frank Fernandez Show on SoFloRadio.com.
From high atop 1926 Hollywood Boulevard, you're listening to SoFloRadio.com.
Say, remember when radio was fun?
Now it's dead.
Because deregulation has allowed one massive corporation to spread its tentacles like a giant octopus, absorbing radio stations around the globe. And that's why you hear this.
SoFlo Radio will stand and fight the corporate monolith. SoFloRadio.com. SoFloRadio.com.
Say, remember when radio was fun?
Now it's dead.
Because deregulation has allowed one massive corporation to spread its tentacles like a giant octopus, absorbing radio stations around the globe. And that's why you hear this.
SoFlo Radio will stand and fight the corporate monolith. SoFloRadio.com. SoFloRadio.com. By the Glass.
By the Glass is a show about beverage culture.
Brad Hubbard.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to connect the dots on how everything works together. It's really all about how we enjoy things, how we enjoy life, and how beverages play a big part in that. I'm going to bring in people that are going to display their aspect of the culture. I'm going to bring in people that are going to show you different products. We're going to look at places where people go to consume these beverages and how they all interact. Things are built around the actual beverage itself.
By the Glass. Thursdays from 6 to 7. Only on SoFloRadio.com.
The Amigo Show with Larry Million.
Yeah, I said it. Michael Jordan was the biggest thing in the NBA. LeBron is the biggest thing in the NBA. Same type of star. I'm not going to argue who's better today. And you look at that, right, Frank? And I remember Jordan. Like, I rooted against Jordan. You know why I rooted against Jordan? Whoa! My voice went soprano. Oh my goodness.
No, what I meant to say was when I, do you know why I root against?
You have failed.
That's what I was trying to say.
The Amigo Show, Saturday mornings from 9 to noon, only on SoFloRadio.com. Now, back to the Frank Fernandez Show.
Oh, have you not heard? It was my understanding that everyone had heard.
Heard what?
Brian, don't! Oh, well, a bird, bird, bird. Bird's a word, well, a bird, bird, bird. Bird's a word, well, a bird, bird, bird. Bird's a word, well, a bird, bird, bird. Bird's a word.
On SoFloRadio.com.
Papa uma mau mau, 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 Papa uma mau mau.
Dave, you know. All I want for Christmas is my two front teeth. My two front teeth. See my two front teeth. Gee, if I could only have my two front teeth, then I could wish you Merry Christmas. It seems so long since
954-990-0036. This is the Asylum. Perfect name for it, huh? David's losing it today.
No, we are the absolute crazy.
I told you I was gonna have fun today, man. I want to have fun, bro. It's the last show of the year.
School.
We got some people listening. It's Christmas. I've been being called the Grinch for the last 2 weeks, but that is what it is.
Nah, I've seen your paycheck disappear. You better not be considered a Grinch.
Well, it's, you know how they say it's the most wonderful time of the year? I was singing the other day, it's the most expensive time of the year.
Yeah.
Because
I think
it absolutely is.
The only people right now that are like dancing is Visa and MasterCard. Those people, they're like, ching.
Well, whatever, man. She better be happy with what I got because I've been going to the mall for like 3 straight days and I'm not a mall person. I've been there for like 2 hours too. I'm one of these people that if I go to the mall, I go in and out. I know exactly what I want. I purchase it and I walk out.
And the problem is you have to go, like when you're like that, I'm the exact same way. You have to go back the next day because you can only do one store at a time.
Yeah, and then I have to like try to like BS around her so then I can actually go ahead and get things because I'm only really getting things for her and then whoever else. Like, bro, like I told you straight out, I was like, bro, I got an idea. You want some food? We'll go get some food and some beers and some me, and that's what we're gonna do after the show.
Merry Christmas.
It's better. It's better than go to the store and actually me trying to go find something that you're gonna enjoy, that you're gonna like or whatever. You're gonna like getting some beer, right? Don't look at me with that face. You told me you were agreed with this. Why are you making me look like an a-hole right now?
Sorry. It just went dirty when you were talking about go to the store, get you something that make you happy. I'm sorry.
What? I didn't say that. What did I say?
I was completely in left field. I zoned out. Sorry, not paying attention.
Whatever.
Hey, welcome back.
Yeah, welcome back.
The crazies.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Sometimes I zone out. It happens.
954-990-0036. So, how did you like your boy Johnny Manziel performing on Sunday?
Mr.
You
Money.
thought I was gonna forget about that? There was a
Money,
lot of money
money,
signs
money,
being thrown
money,
around. A lot of money signs being
money.
thrown in there. His face
And
is
it
what being
was
thrown around.
not one person named Johnny Manziel throwing up the money sign. Pac-Man Jones was the first man who had the real pleasure of doing it. It just make it rain because if he got paid, he went to the strip club.
Social media is so cool because everybody's now connected, and there's a lot of creative people out there. So you kind of see, if you're a junkie on Twitter, you kind of just follow Twitter and you see all these names that people are throwing out there. Then you have the ability to hit the hashtags, yada yada, and see the searches. But there are some funny names coming out for Johnny Football. New nicknames.
Oh, did he lose the Johnny Football?
New nicknames. So, how about Johnny Bench? These are my two favorites. Johnny Bench and Johnny College Football.
Johnny College Football.
He looked slow, man. He looked slow. He looked really small.
He looked confused. He was turning to the left when the running back was going to the right.
Well, he was throwing a lot across his body, and those were a lot of throws that he was getting away with in college,
There were
throwing
a
up
lot
for
of
80
drops.
yards, making 80-yard plays, and he very quickly realized that the players in the NFL are quicker than what he is or what he's used to. He's not ready. He is not ready, and he's never going to be ready. He's a Tebow. He's a gimmicky quarterback that worked in college and doesn't work in the NFL. The two quarterbacks right now that are going out that might be working in the NFL, I don't know too much about the Heisman winner, Mariota, but I'm pretty convinced that I think Jameis Winston is going to look at me talking great about an FSU player. Jameis Winston is going to be something special in the NFL. The dude knows how to win. He has a competitor edge.
I do think he is.
He's a bonehead.
I do think he is the number one prospect. The Heisman winner won the Heisman. Congratulations. Jameis Winston, I do believe, has the better talent. But coming from Oregon, that play system, it might be a little bit more NFL ready when it comes to playbooks and it comes to understanding plays and being able to read, doing things of this nature. But pure talent-wise, I do think Winston has him.
I mean, I hate that he's a Seminole, man, and I'm hoping he's going away this year so we don't have to deal with him anymore. He's one of the best quarterbacks that I've seen in a very long time. I want to see how his play, transfers over to the NFL. There's a lot of quarterbacks that it looks like it's great, and then it doesn't work out. I knew the Manziel plan wasn't going to work. I mean, he's too short. Right, he's too short. He can't see over his offensive line. He's not going to be able to make those
Tim
plays.
Tebow, he can only make plays when he's on. If he were as poised as Russell Wilson was, even in the early games when he first won that starter position as a rookie, if he looked even a third like Russell Wilson, I might say give him a couple more games. But he doesn't. Russell Wilson had poise. He knew what he was doing.
Here's the funny part. We're seeing Manziel in the offseason go to Vegas on the weekends after his camp days. So everybody was already saying, is he going to be ready for the NFL? Not if he's partying like this. This isn't college. You're going to have to learn the playbook. You're going to have to learn the defense.
Yeah, his entourage got in trouble Saturday night at 1 a.m.
But he clearly looked lost at the game. He looked lost. This is somebody that was improvising plays. He didn't look like he knew what he was doing. He didn't know what the defense was going to come with. They straight up smacked him in the mouth. They were all over him. This is a game that Andy Dalton threw for 170 yards or something like that, and they won by 30 points.
This whole Sunday was nothing but special teams and defense. It was such a defensive and special team Sunday that it was crazy. So many touchdowns by special teams. No, it was embarrassing to be walking across the draft stage as a first-round pick, doing the stupid little money sign, and that's how you performed on your first game.
He's very flashy. He needed to be very low key, and
he did have a couple drops, and they were probably a couple key drops that he might have utilized to his advantage. Oh my goodness, I can complete a pass. But
I was all for Johnny Manziel going out there, or Johnny. I like the Johnny College Football. I was all for Johnny College Football going out and partying. Like I don't have anything against partying. You do what you got to do as long as you get what you're supposed to get done. You know, there's a time to play and there's a time to be serious.
I mean, yes, it was the off season. Yes, you're allowed to spend the money that you just got. It's your big bonus. Blah blah.
It's
blah.
the off season, but you're a quarterback coming into a new system, and you're supposed to be the quarterback. Is the most important part in that offense because he's the one that knows the plays. He's the one that knows the routes. He's the one that has to read the defenses. He's the one that has to do everything. Remember Cool Runnings? Remember the driver wasn't allowed to party with his sled mates because he had to be every night studying the turns. It's the same thing for the quarterback. Guess what? Your offensive line gets to go party. Your wide receivers get to go party. Your running back get to go party.
Guess what
you're the
doing?
Quarterback. You need to stay at the apartment or the hotel,
film.
and you need to watch film. You need to learn how to read defenses. You need to know what defenses are going to do to you. You need to see the packages that they're going to be presenting on the field, that they've presented on the field, so you can work around them and find the weak points. What do you think Brady and Manning and all these guys just overnight just was like, yeah, let's go do this? All those guys worked hard. Look at Ken Dorsey for the University of Miami. He was a dork. Like, I'm not making fun of the guy. He was a straight-up dork. And all his people always went out partying. He was always in his dorm either studying or doing homework or on his computer or whatever made him pass his time.
He was always working.
But look at the quarterback that Ken Dorsey was. Another college quarterback that only worked in college. He never really was able to get over to the pros, but he's so smart. Now he's coaching football. And he's so smart that Hurricane fans want him as the offensive coordinator.
He actually had a very long, like his career as a backup quarterback was for 14 years. He was always on a team as a second or even quite possibly in the later years as a third stringer, practice squad guy. But he was always on a team for over 10 years.
No, Dorsey, I don't think he was in the league that long.
I do believe so.
Wow.
I do believe so.
The last thing, we're gonna
Google that. He was on quite a few teams, but I do believe he was a backup for like almost 10 years. Because even the Niners had him at some point.
I always thought that he got picked up more as a player coach. Wow. All right. Well, no. Okay, hold on. He was in the league for 5 years. San Francisco, then Cleveland.
Oh, was it only 5?
Yeah, and
really?
then he went out to Canada and played for the Argonauts.
Oh, okay.
So he was playing. He's as a coach. He's been with Carolina from 2013 till right now, and he was also a scout for the Panthers. So his smarts paid off. What he learned in college paid off because now he's able to move on to the NFL and then now teach other quarterbacks. Maybe his play wasn't able to get to that level, but one of the best quarterbacks of the University of Miami's ever had.
What an imagination do you think he could bring to the University of Miami right now as an offensive coordinator? Maybe we move up our offensive coordinator to a head coach and he comes in our offensive coordinator. I mean, do you think that'd be kind of cool?
It'd be interesting. Frank Fernandez Show live on SoulFlowRadio.com. Thank you for making us a part of your day. DP, Merry Christmas to you.
High five.
Happy holidays. I tore my rotator cuff.
That was a terrible
because
shot.
I tore my rotator cuff. Okay, left hand then. Yes. So happy holidays to you, man. Like always, thank you for helping me do everything on this show.
Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, all the fun-loving stuff.
Happy Kwanzaa.
Happy Kwanzaa.
I hope you guys enjoy the Christmas music on the way out. I'm in a festive mood. I had fun today. Hey, I had fun today. Today was one of those shows that I just came and I just said whatever I wanted to say. Just have a good time. Hey, look, the sandwich of the show. We had sports in the beginning, we had sports at the end, and everything in the middle was fun. It's a sports sandwich.
So an Oreo.
It's an asylum sandwich. We will be back next year. Listen to my Twitter or follow my Twitter, and I'll go ahead and post dates out.
Wait for me.
But yeah, so we wish y'all a Merry Christmas and a happy and prosperous New Year. This is the Frank Fernandez Show. This is the Asylum. We don't wave, we don't clap, we throw up the U.
We'll be back.
What do you know?
from high atop 1926 Hollywood Boulevard, you're listening to SoFloRadio.com.